Yay Media Group.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Szabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. I'm Nick Adams.
I'm Anna.
I'm Lacey G.
And with us is Sa here.
Yay, emergency episode.
That's right.
So what do you guys want to talk about?
I can't really
Not a lot going on at the moment.
So I guess we have to start at the beginning. I think
Beginning of this
In
week.
the beginning.
I think this is where it started for us all, because we've been in this purgatory of, do we start a new album? We're waiting to see what Taylor Swift does, because this whole year has been quite the surprise. And we were here recording on Saturday, just Saturday. How innocent and naive of us. We recorded a couple episodes, and I very confidently, Lacey G, I said, we can have a SwifTEA episode because there's nothing that will drop between now and then.
Which is so funny. Like, that is like so famous last words. And we've gotten so many like just funny messages and comments from our listeners, the Lobsters, being like, thank you guys so much for starting Evermore, because that means we got TS12. Like, she's only doing this because you guys decided to do this. Like, in the lore of the podcast, it is just so funny because, Lacey, when you were like, yeah, nothing's going to happen between now and Tuesday. Like, absolutely not. And I feel like we've lived 13,000 lives since then.
Because I thought something was happening every single day.
Oh,
and then the one time I don't, surprise, surprise.
So, of course, what we're talking about is the wonderful news that Taylor Swift has announced her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, available October 3rd, which is not very long from now.
Mm-hmm.
And so there have been so many clues and hints, and this all just happened like really quickly. So we have to kind of take it back to the beginning. What happened, 48 hours ago that started making us think something's actually happening at this point?
So this is funny because when you say, like, let's take this back to the beginning, I'm like, are we beginning of this week, beginning of this year, beginning of the Eras Tour? So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Back to the beginning of this week at the very least. So on Monday, Taylor Nation posted a series of 12 photos. In all of these photos, Taylor was wearing orange. And they were all photos from the Eras Tour. So like the 1989 orange set, the Evermore orange outfit, the Man orange blazer, all of them were orange. And the caption said, thinking of when she said, see you next era, because that is what she had written on like the letter that she had at the front of the Eras Tour photo book, right? It said, see you next era. And the background image on that letter was the
flaps, the like curtain.
It was the lover.
Things. Yeah, right at the beginning.
For those listening, we're doing the hand motions of the
Doing the wave?
No, you know what I'm talking about.
Whatever those curtain, like the background dancers would wear as like their backpacks.
You know
Like
what I'm
the
talking
clamshell thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that. So it was a picture of that. That was like the background where Taylor wrote, see you next era. 12 minutes before or after, I forget, 12 minutes before or after, New Heights had posted a teaser about having a special, they said, we have a very special guest this week. And every single time that New Heights releases their promo for a special guest, it's a silhouette. So they had a silhouette, and it was Jason and Travis. Jason was wearing an Eras Tour t-shirt, the one with Taylor's face on it. I'm actually wearing the exact same one for that reason today. And Travis was just wearing like a blue shirt, but he looked very smitten in the photo. But the thing is, typically when New Heights posts these teasers, they have a yellow background. And on this one, it had an orange background. Not a coincidence, but at some point during that day, we were like, is it a coincidence? Is it not? Does this tie all together? And then we quickly learned yes. Because I believe it was later that night or the next day that they went ahead and they posted the teaser confirming that Taylor was going to be the guest on New Heights.
Well, we also, sometime in there as well, Taylor Nation, the Taylor Swift store, started a countdown. And it was orange and sparkly. And then later they did confirm it by posting the teaser video on social media that confirmed, even though Swifties had already put her picture in that silhouette, straight found the picture that this is Taylor Swift. They did later confirm it. And we mentioned this in our group text. Is this not the best intro of all time that Jason Kelce gives to Taylor Swift on the New Heights podcast?
Our guest today is a singer, songwriter, and producer and director from Nashville, Tennessee. That's bullshit. She is from Reading, Pennsylvania. She is the most awarded artist in the history of the American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards, and iHeart Radio Music Awards.
Yeah, damn.
She has 14 Grammy Awards and is the only artist in the history to win Album of the Year 4 times. Last December, she wrapped up the Eras Tour, which spanned 149 shows across 51 cities, 5 continents, and was the most attended tour of all time.
Of all time.
I'm still going. Hold up. Her last album, The Torture Poets Department, set a record with 1.76 billion streams globally within the first week alone.
All right.
In the first week?
And as a fan of that guy on the Chiefs, she has 19 wins, 2 AFC titles, and a Super Bowl. 92%ers! Are you ready for it? Making her podcasting debut, the most expensive guest in the history of shows, Taylor Swift!
That intro, Jason.
Oh my
Incredible.
goodness. I think that whole family is an exclamation point just walking around because that intro gets me so hype. And it came out the night before. So we already know, we see this setup, and then we hear Taylor's response, which I could not send that to people who weren't in the know fast enough. Like, this is what we're getting tomorrow. This is exactly what she's serving.
As we all know, you guys have a lot of male sports fans that listen to your podcast. And I think we all know that if there's one thing that male sports fans want to see in their spaces and on their screens, it's more of me.
Yes, I love it too because so that was one of the teaser clips, like you said, Lacey, and I'm pretty sure like the NFL posted it, like ESPN posted it, and it was like the most perfect like rage bait almost because when men were commenting on it, being like, "Oh my god, I'm such a cover," or whatever. All the Swifties were in the comments being like, "You're proving her point."
Yeah.
But it was just like it was so hype. I feel like as we're recording this, it is Thursday at 11:13 a.m. Central Time. Just clocking in
11 what?
13 a.m. Central Time.
Numerology.
Clocking in. I have had straight adrenaline since Monday.
Are you starting to crash?
Not yet. I kind of was right before we started recording, but I do have my 4th cup of coffee from the day. But also, my day starts at 4:30 a.m. because of the morning show, so whatever. But anyway, I've had just like straight adrenaline. I cannot believe this, but yeah, leading up to it, also we started to see rumors about Max Martin and Shellback being involved with this project because before the podcast episode came out with New Heights. In Times Square, there was a Spotify billboard, Spotify QR code, and if you scanned it, it took you to a playlist. And all of the songs on the playlist were all songs that were produced by Max Martin and Shellback and Taylor Swift. So that's when we kind of started to get the idea of like, okay, this is going to be pop perfection.
And that was this before or after? Because they released a teaser. New Heights released a teaser where they announced the name of the album, The
Yes.
Life of a Showgirl. Was this after that? I can't remember.
It was. If I remember correctly, it was after because here in my notes I have it all like in the same thing where it says Max Martin and Shellback, and then also times that we had seen her leaning into the showgirl aesthetic, like the Bejeweled music video, the Lucky One, kind of like things like that.
And I think the playlist, if I'm not wrong, it was called "And That's Showbiz Baby" or "And That's Showbiz for You," something like that.
And baby, that's show business for
that.
you.
And what was weird about the playlist was, first off, even though these are people that she's worked with in the past, and she addressed that later on in the interview, it wasn't her go-to people that we've seen on the most recent albums. So that was number one. Completely different producers than the last several albums that we're used to. Then it started off with the song 22. There were 22 tracks. There was an hour and 22 minutes on this playlist. So everybody was like, that means we're getting a double album. The twos are still twoing this whole time. Even in the promo video, she's saying she went to the Super Bowl twice. And so people are really hung up on a lot of this stuff that is being said and some of the actions because the words are different. But is that promo for the album, though? That's going to be a bait and switch that is supposed to be all glittery and shiny, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be theorized to be pop perfection, but then the lyrics are going to hurt you. So it's going to be masked behind this is going to be big and beautiful and glamorous, but then the words are going to be hitting you different.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because she said in the podcast that this is basically like a behind the scenes of the Eras tour, but she said it's vibrant, it's electric, it's fun. Like, she used all these words, like it was like just very positive. But then she also said that it's going to have like folklore songwriting on it. So it's like, it's going to be really, really, really interesting. But as far as the twos go, I'm still kind of hung up on a documentary or a docuseries, because she's been saying that The Life of a Showgirl, A, perfect title for a documentary. B, like, you know, with all the twos that Lacey just mentioned and all of this stuff, like, I wonder if to accompany the album, there will be some sort of actual behind the scenes video footage.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be. You know, there was always rumors I definitely remember during Midnight's rumors about like a visual album where there would just be, because we saw a bunch of teasers for Midnight's, which ended up just being the Bejeweled music video.
Which is
that
so
has
funny.
So many different scenes where she's playing different characters and costumes and stuff like that. So maybe there could be an actual visual album that follows along with it.
Yeah,
Who
that's so
knows?
true.
I also just realized Female Rage the musical would work perfectly with something called The Life of a Showgirl.
Yeah.
And if that is the title for the visual album, it would fit in perfectly, because all of these titles and the vibes of this album seem very musically backstage, burlesque. Like we had the vigilante shit chairs in some of the album promo. So I and recently there was the trademark that had been just like, I think, approved for use or for commerce or something. And so I wonder if that is actually like was not a Tortured Poet Easter egg, but in fact is an Easter egg for The Life of a Showgirl.
Yeah, or somehow tied in.
Mm-hmm.
Was Taylor joining Travis's podcast on our bingo board for the year?
Yes, it was. Okay, hold on.
Awesome.
I'm glad that you brought this up, because I actually just checked that yesterday. Hold on. Bingo.
Because whenever this happened, I was thinking, surely this was on our bingo board.
Yes. So at the start of the year, at the start of 2025, we put together a 2025 bingo board. And I guess we haven't even addressed it that Amy's not here because she's on a cruise again. But no, I'm just kidding. But also Amy was not, she was literally actually was on a
She
cruise.
really was that time.
When we did the bingo board episode. So it was just Nick, Lacey, and myself. And the way that we did it is we each, like, we kind of went around the room with our bingo board things, but in 13 podcast fashion, we made it competitive. So we kept track of who said what.
Who did this one?
Okay, so this was item number 21 on our list. It says, Taylor appears on the New Heights podcast. That one was submitted by me.
Oh,
no.
I was going to say Nick Adams.
It says Anna.
I let you have that one, I guess.
It says Anna.
What's 21 backwards?
12.
Numerology, everybody.
Numerology meets Tay Voodoo.
And
Goodness.
this is such a big deal because we've wondered before, like, if Taylor Swift was going to have Travis walk with her on the red carpet, because she's never done that before. So to see this side of Taylor and to see this interview that's just giving, and she's opening up to us and showing herself that she doesn't have to. And I think that that's beautiful to be able to witness them and to see them together and to hear how close they are and how intertwined their families are.
Yeah, you can tell that she loves this guy because Taylor, we all know, she's very guarded. She does not do interviews. And she was opening up quite a bit on things. She did a 2-hour-long podcast. Like that is a long interview to have with your significant other and stuff. So clearly she cares about this guy. And the whole time, they're just looking at each other the whole time.
Touching each other.
Giggling. You could see so much hand-holding underneath the table.
It was just
They were just being so cute and sweet the entire time.
The entire time. I loved it. I was truly like giggling, kicking my feet, like just watching her. I'm just so happy for her. It's just so, because like you said, she just hasn't done interviews in a long time. And it's just so comforting to me to know that she is doing so well. And another thing was also because when it was first announced that she was going to go on the New Heights podcast, our reaction was like so beyond excited, right? But that wasn't necessarily everyone's reactions. Like some people were kind of like, why would you go on a sports podcast to talk about your music? Like all this stuff. I was very much on board. I simply adore how Travis Kelce supports her. So yesterday, leading up to the episode, there was an article from Entertainment Tonight, which is one of the closest that we can get to actually like a source from Taylor. So it said a source told Entertainment Tonight that Taylor Swift wanted to announce the life of a showgirl to support Travis Kelce on his platform. They said she wanted to save the news of her album for his podcast as a way of supporting Travis and his platform, just as he's always championed her. Taylor feels completely at ease with Travis. They see each other as true partners in every sense. With Travis, Taylor can be her unfiltered self, never feels the need to put on a performance. She's excited for fans to see what she has in store on New Heights.
And here's just a little clip of Travis and Taylor on the podcast being super cute, and Travis just talking about how much he loves Taylor Swift.
I'd never just been so engulfed in the curiosity of who you were.
Oh, that's
And look
really
at this.
wonderful.
You know,
I really
one of the
have.
best things about that last statement is you didn't even know what the word engulf meant before, like you met Taylor. Like this is, you've broadened your horizons so much.
We're the perfect. I'm telling you, it's so. She makes me so much better. So,
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying
No.
that.
and then, but it's like you see you on the stage, and you see how crazy you can get an entire stadium going, and then I get you in a room, and it's like I've known you forever. It's like it was just the easiest conversation I ever had, and it was just so much fun that it just knocked my socks off, from what they say.
Knocked your socks off.
Yeah,
Thank you. I felt
she
the
blew
same
me
exact
away,
way
and
about you.
I had never experienced something so mesmerizing on stage, and then so real and so beautiful in person.
And there were so many little I love yous, like throwaway I love yous in the conversation that kind of just got buried when they were talking, just off mic. I love you.
And there were also times where you could tell that like he wanted to lean in for a kiss and like stopped himself. Or,
There was a
like,
couple times there was an edit,
Yeah.
a clear edit
Yeah.
where it looked like he was going in for a smooch.
Yeah.
And then they just cut it.
and it was almost like he was doing it by like second nature.
Right.
You know, like it's like they forgot that they were like
It's
recording.
like that video of the YouTube Shorts Fortnite thing where she's just baking. He just like appears.
yeah.
So,
Oh my God. I'm
they're
just
so
so
cute.
I think
Oh my
one of the
God.
cutest things that I heard, which Nick, you're absolutely right. This probably would have been edited out just because they were talking over each other. But what he said was so cute that I think it was important to be, and I didn't catch it the first time. Somebody else pointed it out. But they were talking about the re-recording process and who was insane enough to do that. And he's sitting here pointing this girl with all the vengeance. Yes, she is. And he said, they were saying, how many times will you re-release an album and fans are going to listen to it? And he said, if you release a third 1989, I'd listen. He said that. Also talking about him doing this John Hughes moment in real life, and it's shooting your shot that's heard around the world. I mean, that was adorable for her to say, this is exactly what I've been asking for, and then someone delivers it. To lay out all the green flags instead of saying why you're putting up with the red ones.
Yeah, you're so
Genius.
right.
Yeah.
Lacey, I love that you pointed that out because, I'm just
Green
gonna
flags
repeat
came up
what you
twice.
said. But when she said, there's this guy in front of me that's doing what I've been asking for.
Yeah.
And like, here's the obvious sign.
Yeah.
Let's give this guy a shot.
Do you
Wonderful.
think, because then she had also kind of said that part of what made it also work, another green flag was that when they didn't meet at the show, even though he wanted to, even though they didn't meet, then there were so many people that started kind of vouching for him and whispering in her ear, like, he's such a great guy, give him a chance, all this stuff. And she was like, you know, if all these people have nothing but good things to say, like, why not? It made me curious this morning on, I still think they would have, you know, it was meant to be. I think they would have had the beautiful relationship that they do. But I wonder how different it would have been if he did successfully meet her the night of the concert.
Right.
You know?
It was so funny to me because Taylor revealed kind of something that I had been thinking a lot of us had thought about, because Travis has been saying, oh, I just didn't get to meet her. Did he reach out to her people at all? Like,
No.
did he actually try? And she said he didn't do any of that. He just assumed because he plays football in that stadium that he could get backstage because he knows the security guards and stuff like that. And she said he didn't like try at all. He just showed up and was just gonna hope he could walk in, and that didn't work.
He thought he could just be like, hi, I'm Travis Kelce.
My locker's right there.
Can I? And they were like, nope. No, and then I think he said that Patrick Mahomes tried also, right? Like him and Patrick. And if there's anybody that could walk around that stadium without needing identification, it's Patrick Mahomes. But I just, it makes me so happy.
Yeah, they talked.
Here are some Reddit comments that I read that just kind of echoes what a lot of people are feeling today. Wistful46 said, "A man who hypes your vocabulary, we are never again settling for less." I thought that was great. Rhodes13 said, "After a breakup, one of Taylor's friends," and they're asking, was it Todrick Hall? So I'm not sure if it was or was not. But one of her friends mentioned something about how Taylor will say, "We saw a bug and it was like 10 feet tall." And this ex would correct her by saying it wasn't that large, it was normal size. And you could just tell how that affected Taylor. But then they noticed during the podcast last night, whenever she was talking about her grasshopper and how it's 16 feet away. And she's telling this big grandiose story that isn't real, like it likely isn't real. The thing wasn't 16 feet away, but they're still listening and engaging with her and not like, well, actually, that's incorrect because you got your facts wrong, just going along with it. And so this person said, it's not to knock on anyone. I guess it's just a reminder that you don't have to dull parts of yourself to fit in. There's someone out there who will accept every part of you, who will even encourage that part of you.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I saw another post that also said that Taylor Swift dating her number one fan is the way it should have always been. You know?
That's true.
That's really, really sweet. Do we also have, I know there was like a lot of audio, a lot of clips. We're all feeling a little slightly overwhelmed. I don't know if we have the audio, but we should also talk about her telling her side of the story about reclaiming her masters.
Yes, I do have a clip of this.
Okay.
I love it. It's about a minute long.
Okay.
And it's condensed from that part of the conversation. But yeah, Jason was just like, hey, so tell me about getting the masters back.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he really has no idea what all this is going on. So Taylor explained it to him. And she explained all the differences between like
the master
publishing,
recording.
the publishing rights, the master recording rights, and everything like that, which we have gone into all like this. But then she finally got into explaining exactly how this came to be, that after years and like she said like a decade of her trying to get these masters back because they had been sold a few times at this point, about how she was actually able to get them back.
Rather than send lawyers or management, I sent my mom and my brother, who I work with, to LA, and they they sat down and they like, this happens. I don't ever really talk about it because it's they sat down with Shamrock Capital and they told them what this meant for me. Like they told them the whole story of all the times we've tried to buy it, all the times it's fallen through. It was a couple months after the Super Bowl. I get a call from my mom and she's like, you got your music. Yeah. And so sorry that it's literally been so long since this happened. It's every time I talk about it. She was like, you got your music. And I just like very dramatically hit the floor for real. Like honestly, just started
It's been a long time
bawling my eyes out. And yeah, this changed my life. I can't believe it still.
And she goes on and on about how she was trying to get the words out to tell Travis because Travis was in the next room playing video games. and then they were talking about how Travis himself was crying in that moment too. Just what a sweet moment. You know, this finally happened. And Taylor was saying, it was interesting. She was saying some artists don't want their masters. Some do. She says other people have their priorities. And for her, it's just about owning her work. It's not about how much money she can make on them down the road. It's about owning it. And she was saying that if she didn't get her masters back, she knows that in 40 years, someone else is going to leave her masters in their will for their kids. Mm-hmm. And that they wouldn't be hers. They'd be someone else's property. And she knew she had to get them back.
And this whole time, like during the entire Taylor's version era of our lives, you know, we're deep Swifties, so we like definitely like understand it. But I always try to explain it to people that the difference between Taylor and your average, I guess, recording artist, somebody who wouldn't really care about like, you know, the masters of publishing, like things like that. The difference between that and Taylor is that since she writes so deeply from like her heart and her experiences, it is like her entire like diary entry in the form of lyrics and visuals and music and all of that. So it's like kind of far beyond just like, oh, it's a fun pop song, then I want to be a pop star. It's like, no, this is her entire life's work in every sense of the word. You know, and then it was also interesting because I've seen this morning people kind of noticing that this entire time she's always said like, oh, like get my masters back, get them back. And so people thought that she already owned them, lost them, and then she got them back. But it's more so like, I think it's just like getting back the ownership of all of her work. Not that she bought them at one point, they were sold again, and then she got them back. I think that kind of confused people over the last couple of years as well. So I think she cleared that up in the New Heights episode.
But I also felt like that part, her messaging during that was to explain to a different audience. I loved Jason asking the question because we haven't heard a lot or anything really since she's gotten her master's. But for her to explain it for that way, I felt like that was more for the New Heights or for the audience who didn't know, who was like, well, why is she making such a big deal out of this? You know, so that was a very good way to say, hey, I'm reacting to a situation. I'm not overreacting because of something that happened. So let me just clear this up.
Yeah, I really appreciated the will analogy because that even put things into perspective for me, because I was like, I never thought that one day, like, someone will pass, it's property that someone owns, and that would go to someone that isn't Taylor. Mm-hmm. That was just like something that I never thought about. Luckily, it'll never happen, but it was a very good way to like put things into perspective for even like a very deep SwifTEA like me.
Well, another piece of the interview with the New Heights that I just really loved was Jason was asking about Easter eggs.
Yes.
And it was great to hear Taylor explain Easter eggs. I'm sure if you pull up our questions that we have for Taylor, we have so many questions about Easter eggs, about like, what is actually an Easter egg? Because I have my opinions on what Taylor deems an Easter egg, and other people have their opinions, but Taylor actually spoke about what an Easter egg to her actually is.
There's do's and don'ts, right? Like, I'm never going to plant an Easter egg that ties back to my personal life. It's always going to be towards music. Something that you don't know I'm saying for a specific reason that you'll hear later, and you'll go back and be like, oh my God. Like, I think my favorite one of those was I was given an honorary doctorate from NYU, and I made the commencement speech. And I put so many lyrical Easter eggs in that speech that when the Midnights album came out after that, the fans were like, the whole speech was an Easter egg.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, that's really fun because they find it fun.
Yeah, and she talked a little bit more about how she likes playing with numbers and numerology, and they talked a lot about that. She had to explain numerology to Jason, and it was really cool. And so, like, to me, I picture her Easter eggs being, I don't want to say simple, but not as complicated as some people make them. I think some people will look at the star chart from 17 decades ago and match it up with the Wednesday. And it's like, I feel like that's not an Easter egg. But when Taylor Nation posts 12 pictures and they're in orange, like, okay, that's an Easter egg.
Well, funny. You should say that, Nick Adams, because
Ooh, full name.
Yes, Lacey G.
on TikTok, T Swift fan 420 says that Taylor
Is
Swift
that your burner account?
says that Taylor Swift did want everyone to be included, and that's why these clues were especially cluing.
She had to give us the stupid people Easter eggs because we were clowning that hard with Reputation Taylor's version. Because everyone was so delusional with Reputation Taylor's version, she literally gave us the stupid people Easter eggs. They were like, a new era is coming, orange. Do you know what I mean? And we were like, okay, thank you for setting us back on track. Imagine Taylor Swift, the queen of Easter eggs, being like, these people are this crazy that I actually have to like dumb it down for them.
That's so
okay,
funny.
Class, settle down. Here's what we're
There's
doing.
a new era coming, orange.
But I understand how, as Swifties, if you're not in the know, how that can be annoying for someone else. If it's like, she just said something, but she has taught us to think differently. So, Nick, if you will, I have another clip on Easter eggs, and she explains this is why she makes it fun for other people. You can be in or out. Choose your own adventure.
I want Easter eggs to be a certain thing where, like, if you are a part of the fandom and you want to experience like music in a normal way, then you don't even see these. You don't even care what that thing is above that doorway, under that dimly lit flickering light over there that's upside down backwards in Braille. You don't
need to know what that is.
I love this. Yeah.
But if you want to look at that,
but if you do,
then it's there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you know, you know.
If you're
you
in the
know,
know.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know.
you know.
You know.
And I do love that because I think there have been a lot of times where people do take a very simple Easter egg and tie it back in a way to her personal life, and she doesn't. I mean, that's what she said. She's like, it's always going to be about the music. You know, I'm not going to tie it back to my personal life. I feel like that's something she kind of felt like she needed to say. But while we're on the topic of Easter eggs, I feel like we need to have an important discussion about TS12, The Life of a Showgirl. Is it tied to the Karma album? The entire theory of all of this. Quick spark notes for anybody that is unfamiliar with the Karma album theory. And I feel like I have this like Karma album theory spark notes like memorized. I've done it so many times. Back in the day, back when Taylor Swift was recording her first few albums, when we were like Red 1989, she was very much on a calendar clock schedule. Every 2 years we got an album. Every 2 years we get an album. After 1989 wrapped up her tour, she started changing things. She changed her hair. She dyed her hair. It's all iconically known as Bleachella. She was changing her aesthetic to kind of be like 90s pop punk. And then we started to think like, okay, so she's working on something new. She's starting to tease something. But then the events of 2016 happened with Kanye and all of that. And then 3 years after 1989, so she broke the pattern. 3 years later, we got Reputation. So there is this long-running Karma album theory amongst Swifties that she was working on an album. After 1989, she scrapped it and wrote Reputation instead. And part of the things that feed into this is in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, where she has so many different versions of herself. There is a Taylor Swift, like at the end where they're all lined up. There is a Taylor that's in orange that we don't know. And there is an orange TS on the plane on the music video. And she had said that we wouldn't understand some of the Easter eggs in that music video for years. So for all these years, we've wondered about, okay, was she working on an album? We call it the long lost album, the Karma album. And we as fans gave it the color orange because there was that Taylor in that music video. That's kind of the Spark Notes version, though I do think we have an entire episode breaking down the actual like nitty gritty of it all. So with this album, with The Life of a Showgirl being orange themed, I've seen a lot of Easter eggs and things being tied back to the Karma album timeline and things like that. So what do you guys think?
I think there are definitely elements of Karma somewhere throughout it. I also think that this was supposed to be TS11 and not Tortured Poets. And I think those both go hand in hand because Reputation, I think since Reputation, she has not worked with Max Martin and Shellback until The Life of a Showgirl. Also, the same people did the Reputation cover shoot that did the Life of a Showgirl cover shoot. So I think there are a lot of parallels. And I think in some sense, this is her way of bringing the concept of karma to us in terms of like what I see in my head is in the Look What You Made Me Do music video where she's in that orange prison jumpsuit in the birdcage. Because if I'm not wrong, I feel like we've seen a little bit of birdcage imagery recently. And I feel like those two go hand in hand. And now we're seeing kind of in those like back in that like pop punk grunge kind of darker moody aesthetic. I don't know if that is all cohesive in terms of like it's just it happened to come back. I also know that sometimes she says like sometimes I'll think of an idea but I don't think it's right for this time, so I'll hold on to it, and maybe this is that same idea but now just in a different way.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I feel like this kind of entire time I've been thinking that because in the episode, in the New Heights episode, she said this is the album I've always wanted to make. So part of me feels like maybe 1989 she did start working, because 1989 is our pop Bible, right? So maybe after that she was working on even more pop music. And then everything happened with Reputation, Lover, the pandemic, you know, Tortured Poets was like so cathartic for her. And she maybe now with the Eras tour being so sparkly and beautiful and showgirl-esque, she was like, now I can kind of go back to this idea that I had a decade ago, you know, and feed into that imagery that she already started laying the groundwork for in a way. So I do feel like it all ties together, and I was kind of hoping she would talk about that on the podcast, but I knew that the general public would be like, what?
So I think that this is totally karma coded, that she is going to say things that she's always wanted to say, but she's purposely repackaging it because she keeps saying, I did this during the Eras tour.
Right.
I wrote this during the European leg. So she's trying to act like it's not, even if the songs didn't originally come from Karma, if it is the concept, if that's where she had the brainchild, because she makes it sound like this is a brand new idea, a brand new concept, but she's been hinting at it seemingly through Easter eggs since the Midnight's album. So, I mean, that's been years in the making that she's been doing this.
Well, for me, that's like my biggest theory with this album is that, and I saw this online, I don't remember exactly who said it, but they said all of Taylor's neutral colored albums are her unplanned ones. Reputation was black and white, Folklore was black and white, and The Tortured Poets was black and white.
Interesting.
And the rest of the albums have color. So I think this album is resetting the timeline for us because a lot of Tortured Poets messaging was, I made this for me for my emotions to be put onto paper, for her literally writing those diary entries. I think this was like at the end of the Bejeweled music video, she's literally basically in the same like dripping chains outfit that she's in the cover shoot.
Yeah.
So I think, and even the colors of the elevator buttons, I think 11 was like a dark reddish, kind of like the same vibe as this album. So I think she's been planning this since Midnight's, and this was supposed to be the follow-up, but everything that happened in the beginning of the Eras tour with the Joe breakup and like the Maddie Healy of it all, that threw a wrench in her plans, and now she's like returning to her original timeline.
Yeah.
And that's why she only has 12 songs on this, is what she's saying, because Tortured Poets was more, I need to get all of these
cathartic
thoughts out. Now she's thinking about what she wants to say, and she's packaging it perfectly. So people are saying this album's not going to be saturated with a double album with so many extra songs, but she's making an unskippable album that is going to reflect the Eras tour and is going to bring the joy of the Eras tour.
My personal opinions on if I think this is going to be a Karma-related album, I don't really think so. I feel like ever since she had a song called Karma, I don't feed into all the theories about how this is 100% the lost album. She put out a song called Karma. I feel like there might be some elements of maybe what she was trying to get to. She hasn't explored this side of her or this exact sound. So maybe that's what that Lost Karma album may have been like a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's so karma coded. I think it's a color she hasn't used yet. It's orange. It's pretty. She likes it. It's sparkly. And I don't know. Since she's already had a song called Karma, I think she's probably done with the karma aspect. I think she's maybe moved on from that word especially. That's just my opinion.
Jason Kelce did ask her on the New Heights podcast, why orange? Is there any reason that you gravitated towards that color?
So what is the significance of the color orange? Why orange?
I've just always liked it, Jason. It really
So
feels like, I don't know.
Okay.
It feels like kind of energetically how my life has felt. And this album is about what was going on behind the scenes in my inner life during this tour, which was so exuberant and electric and vibrant. And, you know, one of the things about this record is like, it's a record I made with my mentor, Max Martin, and Shellback. And the three of us have made some of my favorite songs that I've ever done before. It felt like catching lightning in a bottle, honestly.
Yeah.
We hadn't worked together in like 7 or 8 years. It just comes from like the most infectiously joyful, wild, dramatic place I was in my life.
Yeah.
And so that effervescence has come through on this record. And like, as you said, bangers. And we were just like, there's no other songs coming. It's not like with Tortured Poets Department, I was like, here's a data dump of everything I've thought, felt, experienced in 2 or 3 years. Here's 31 songs. This is 12. There's not a 13th. There's not a 4th. There's not other ones coming. This is the record I've been wanting to make for a very long time.
Yay!
So I think to me, like in that clip just now, like she's not talking about, I don't know, in my mind, Karma has a lot of vibes of like retribution and getting back at people, and you'll get what's coming to you. I think she's moved past that.
Oh, because
I think she's happy, excited. She's in a new phase in her life, and so that's where we're headed.
I see what you're saying. I think in my head, even though we call it the Karma album, to me it's that era, like what that pop, like that she was working on right after 1989, and we as fans gave it the name Karma, but maybe she is just kind of going back to that like concept that she had of like, I want to do like another full pop album, you know, because Reputation did have its pop elements, but it wasn't like a 1989.
Correct.
You know, so.
I don't trust her. I don't trust her. I love her. I do not trust her. And this is why sometimes it's difficult as a Swiftie, because it's like, I just watched the interview. I just heard her say, no, listen to me. But for her to say, oh, there's nothing about orange. I just like that. Like, that's so cut and dry. And we know that she's joking at that point. Plus, all the sourdough talk. I mean, I was into it. I was into the puns. But I'm like, are we talking about sourdough or is this over my head? And
What?
I've seen during the interview, whenever they were talking about the sourdough the whole time.
No, I know what you're talking about when she was talking about sourdough, but why do you think it was over your head?
Because I was like, are we talking about sourdough or is this more to this conversation?
See, I think they were just talking about sourdough.
Me too.
Me
I
too.
don't think that's a Easter egg she's trying to hide from you. I
No,
think she was
yeah, I don't
just
think so.
she had some time on her hands.
Or
She's gonna do sourdough.
It's her current hyperfixation.
Yeah.
or the two is she's coming out with a secret sourdough line.
It could happen.
Do we need to start 13.5 a sourdough fan podcast?
Well,
Was there anything music related that came from the sourdough talk?
she was talking about the different variants of sourdough that she's been playing around with that matched all the and I mean, it was just, it went on for a little too long. I loved it if we are just talking about bread. But I'm like, I don't know if she's being serious or not, or if she's laying out more Easter eggs. Let's circle back to some of the Easter eggs that she's done before that we're just now realizing. She finished the Eras Tour on 12/8. Well, then flip that around. 8/12 is whenever we're getting her 12th studio album. The first triple mashup that she played was Getaway Car August, Other Side of the Door. Literally going to the other side of this door is the new album. She wore the cute plaid in London. 8/12, right in front of a fire escape, which now they're using the fire heart emoji. It still had like 8/12 or 8/16 or something. And she's been egging this for at least a year, including she talked about whenever she met up with Max Martin and did that Max Martin melody for a surprise song night one night. She's been in it. If this is coming from superstar Taylor's perspective, then it's that second or third Taylor in the anti-hero music video. She talked about being a sports analysis in 16 months, which 16 months from now is her birthday in 2026, 12/13/2026. Then just some weird things she said. Travis, whenever he was talking about he was afraid he was going to drop the baby whenever he was carrying her on the Eras Tour, she said, "You could throw me over a mountain." What does that mean? And who says that? That's very intentional. I didn't pick this up, but someone said that she said musical. She specifically said something about musical, and they were like, ding, 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 is she hinting at a musical? Gelsenkirchen, they said that 3 times. Is that significant, or were they really just trying to, this is what this girl makes me think. She said, I like pop music and Pop Tarts. What does that mean?
That was a shout out to us.
What does that mean? Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard. It's just hard to believe. She's talking about October 3rd is whenever they're releasing the new album. She said that is a good week, a good month to release an album for the Opal Birthstones. Think about the manifest that she's had before in the past, where she's given us a schedule and then didn't stick to the schedule. We are now officially 3 years in advance from what she has been Easter egging 3 years ago. And we're just now getting to see it come out to fruition right now. So are we taking everything for face value? Does she have more tricks up her sleeve? We're talking about the life of a showgirl here.
Mm-hmm. I do think that there's more surprises in store. Like, it's currently August and the album comes out in October. She said no track 13, no track 14, anything like that. But I do think there's still going to be surprises. I think that we're still going to get, you know, a few things here and there leading up to the album. I don't think this was the only promo she's doing for an album that comes out in 2 or 3 months. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Lyric.ology on TikTok is more on the sus about this album rollout, just simply because of the topic of the album.
The Showgirl's greatest trick is letting you think you've seen it all. She makes you think you've seen behind the curtains, but she's the one pulling the strings. She's the only one who knows how the trick really works. Audience sees the performance. She keeps the truth for herself. And wouldn't you? Because the greatest trick is the one she never shows. And the truth was never part of the act.
Ooh. Which is just honestly the truth. We're seeing what she's allowing us to see. Do I think this whole thing? No, I don't think it's fake. I think that the interview that we saw was genuine. Does that not mean that there could be Easter eggs and clues dribbled in there? Yeah. Does it mean that there has to be? No, but that also means they were talking about sourdough for like 6 minutes. If that is in fact true.
I do think that I'm sure there's hints and Easter eggs and things that in this interview that we will find out later, much like the commencement speech. But I also think that since she was with Travis and Jason, there were times where they just kind of were being their silly selves. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when we do interviews, we get carried away on a random topic that it's like, okay, let's circle back to, you know, whatever. And I feel like when they were having that sourdough conversation, since she is so hyper fixated on it currently, it's like her current favorite hobby to do. Like all her friends have been posting pictures of the sourdough that she's been making for them. Maybe she honestly just got really passionate for a second and Travis and Jason just wanted to feed into it. No pun intended. But I don't know. But also maybe we'll look back on it 3 years from now and be like, oh my God, you know? It was right in front of our faces the whole time. Because, I mean, that's what she said that she likes about Easter eggs.
I do love that Taylor Swift is never above making fun of herself or the past or just taking a subtle jab at somebody. I started laughing so hard during their conversation about X and how Travis Kelce used to act on Twitter and how he was like, oh, well, now that there's autocorrect, maybe I'll join Twitter again, talking about him misspelling squirrels back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Just so funny. But I also loved how Taylor casually pointed out that her live band sounds so good because they were on every single re-record and then did it every night that they sounded that flawless because that's how good they are, which was just a little gentle circle middle finger back to Dave Grohl talking about the Errors tour last year, saying that her band wasn't performing live. I love that. I mean, that's what I took. I don't know if that's what but just to casually throw it out there that, yep, they are still performing live, and that's why they sound so good.
Also, while we are on the topic of Easter eggs adjacent, Lacey, I think we might have seen one in person, you and I, because we were at the Eras Tour New Orleans Night 2 when the surprise song guest was Sabrina Carpenter. Taylor was wearing an orange dress at that point, and Sabrina came out and they performed together, but in the whole little bit that she did leading up to it, it's like she calls Sabrina like on the phone. And then she said something along the lines of like, okay, just like put some clothes on and like come on. Something makes me think that that's a lyric because the feature that Sabrina is on, it's track 12 on the album and it's The Life of a Showgirl. It's the title track featuring Sabrina Carpenter. And I feel like that's something that would be in that kind of song, right? Like put your clothes on.
And Sabrina posted something saying put on some clothes as well. And again, it's her verbiage that made it. So because you're on a roller coaster, why would you need to put your clothes on if it was a roller I mean, so yeah, that was something that is that people have been pointing out. As of right now, we know of them collabing on a song. I didn't know if she was going to start a new record company, something that we had thought before. Her talking about her struggle to own her masters really made me, I was suspicious. Like, is she about to say that, yep, and this is what I'm doing now. Learn from my mistakes and you can come join me.
Yeah, that would have been epic. And I feel like that's only a matter of time, honestly.
So something we haven't talked about is the track list.
Mhm.
We've talked about how there's 12 songs. Well, what are the names of the songs? And I want to see after I tell you the names of the songs if there's any that stick out to you. Because there's one that sticks out to me that I know is going to be my favorite.
Ooh.
I already know it.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I could guess it.
I'm going to predict my favorite as well.
Okay, so here's the track list. 12 tracks. The Fate of Ophelia, Elizabeth Taylor, Opalite, Father Figure. Track 5, Eldest Daughter. That's going to be an important one we already know.
Shout out.
Track 6, Ruining the Friendship. Which do we think we know who that's about?
I wonder.
Track 7, Actually Romantic. 8 is Wish List. 9, Wood. And when they said this on the podcast, Jason and Travis were like, hey. Beavis and Butthead for a second. Oh, yeah, that's what she said. Track 10, Canceled! Exclamation point. Track 11, Honey. Track 12, The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. Does any stick out to you guys? Anything?
On which one we think is going to be your favorite?
Sure. Well, what do you think is going to be my favorite? Can you guess?
Which one's going to be your favorite? I think you're really going to like Canceled.
Okay. Any other guesses? I hear.
My guess was Wish List.
Okay. So far, neither of you are right.
Oh, okay.
Lacey, do you have a guess of which is going to be my favorite?
No, Nick, I'm still stuck on Wood.
Wood.
I'm just curious.
I think my favorite is going to be Honey. Something about that song. It's giving dress. It's giving something
Sticky.
like risque. I don't know. I'm thinking Honey. I think Honey is going to be my favorite.
Okay. I'm predicting my favorite's going to be Actually Romantic.
Okay. That's going to be track 7.
Yeah.
Lacey, do you have one that's sticking out to you yet?
All of them. I'm really interested in the title track.
The Life of a Showgirl?
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. And we know do we think that's going to be the lead single? I would assume it would be. And I would assume
probably.
that is going to be the number 1 song in the country for a few weeks.
I wonder if it has anything to do with like right before I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, how she like literally changes, which ties back to the Put Some Clothes On, and she is a showgirl being controlled by the backup dancer. So I wonder if it'll be very I Can Do It With a Broken Heart-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Sahir, do you have a song that sticks out to you at the moment?
For some reason, I think Opalite.
I don't know what Opalite is.
I just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
It's like a man-made stone.
Huh.
I feel like for some reason, all of the like etherealness and in the podcast how she said effervescentness of Slut from The Vault, I think that'll translate to this.
Okay, yeah.
Because even like the colors of Opalite, I feel like are very ethereal and that kind of vibe.
Yeah, so opalite is a man-made glass stone, not a naturally occurring gemstone like opal or moonstone. It's known for its milky white to translucent appearance with a subtle play of colors, often resembling a soft blue hue, particularly when backlit. While it's not a crystal in the geological sense, it is often used in jewelry.
And I saw how Taylor Swift is taking back the word canceled, just like she did slut.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Oh, I do like that.
Because now people are going to Google and the song's going to come up and not any events of the past.
You're so right. Another question to pose to the group. Do we think that, because you had said the lead single being the title track, potentially, do we think she puts out a single before the album? Or no?
Yes.
She hasn't in the past few years. She didn't do it for the Tortured Poets. She didn't do it for Midnights. She didn't do it for Evermore. She didn't do it for Folklore.
I don't know. Maybe
Folklore is a
because
surprise album. So
she's saying this is going to be such a poppy, big, bright colored album. To me, that kind of screams like I may have some radio hits here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's get them out there.
I think we're so back in terms of like classic album rollout.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like she is Taylor Swift, so she's gonna get the radio play regardless. You know what I mean? So and with it only being, and I'm happy to be wrong about all of this, by the way, but I feel like with it only being 12 songs, I don't know if she'd put one out early.
I don't think she needs to, but I think in this case she may want, because she was like, I am so proud of this album. There's nothing you could say that would make me not want to put out this album.
Right.
So I think she just wants us to hear it.
So another question that I have that is very important. We get a new album. What are we doing with the tour? Is there going to be a tour to support this? She just got off the Eras tour in December. So does that mean maybe come spring there's going to be a tour.
I'm literally so stressed about this.
Well, I warned my parents already. I was like, I know I'm going to be a broke college student, but I will be there.
I'm requesting my birthday and Christmas present early.
Literally.
Oh, I was explaining to a girlfriend who knows how obsessed I am, but still hasn't been through this process with me. And another friend was talking, and I'm like talking around her, like, no, you don't understand. We just now entered into my football season. Now I'm sitting around and I'm watching this, and we're just in the album rollout phase. The album isn't even here yet.
Yeah.
What do we have coming up? Yes, we are just getting started because Taylor Swift knows how to do an album rollout. But to touch back on something you mentioned earlier, Sahir, Emily on TikTok, she's at 30.something.life, thinks that maybe this could be a potential move for Taylor Swift in the near future.
What if we're getting Female Rage, the music festival?
Ooh.
Taylor has new music. Hailey has new music. Florence is hinting towards new music, and so is Stevie Nicks. A co-headliner tour, few location stop music festival. Yeah, we would be there.
So, I mean, what about that? What about collab album? There's been rumors of a collab album for years now. She mentioned Phoebe Bridgers at least 3 times in the interview yesterday. Is this, I mean, I don't know. We're thinking she maybe fixed the timeline. Now she's righting the wrongs.
Loverfest.
But how is this exactly going to play out?
I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know if you guys agree with this. I have a really good idea for a stop. Swifties in the Park.
Sounds great.
Second annual.
I'll be there.
I'm so in for a second annual Swifties
Yeah,
in
we
the
need to do that
Park.
at some
I've been
point.
saying yes.
Also, I would just like
on
to
October
say,
3rd.
Well, this album comes out on October 3rd. October 4th, one Miss Sabrina Carpenter is headlining ACL.
Yes. And people are very suspicious if Taylor Swift is going to make an appearance or not.
That'd be crazy.
And for years, I've always said that she would not do the festival scene. However, I think now she's just doing it to have fun.
Yeah.
She's in it for the vibes right now. She's having a good time.
And she was supposed to right before COVID. She was supposed to headline Glastonbury. And then COVID happened, so she didn't get to.
And so, all of this, and now she's doing more collabs with her friends. I mean, in the last 2 years, we've seen her do Us with Gracie, and now the title track of Showgirl with Sabrina.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm there.
Yeah. Oh, my
And wait,
goodness.
isn't Gracie also at ACL this year? I think she is. I'm 90% sure I really want to go to ACL.
I don't know. I tried to get tickets, and they sold out so fast. So fast.
So let's talk about potential rumors that people think is this what is to come? This is just rumblings of what Taylor Swift could have possibly meant, could be happening in the near future. People wonder if this is setting her up to do the Super Bowl. She said before she's not going to do the Super Bowl until she got so many albums underneath her belt. Well, now she's becoming a part of the league. Maybe it's time for her to join forces next year, which is a big Super Bowl. I want to say it's 70, maybe. I might be wrong on that. Other people are speculating Life of a Showgirl. Is this going to lead up to a Vegas residency? She's in a happy phase of her life. Maybe she doesn't want to be out touring all the time. Maybe she wants to sit here and have a home life and you can come to her. Is that something that would set up? People were wondering, Life of a Showgirl, is there going to be a Death of a Showgirl?
Yeah, I saw
They were
that.
thinking for the second album drop that this would be what was produced by Aaron Dresner and Jack Antonoff, that would be a secret job. But now she's saying, no, that's not the case. This is all the music that you're going to get. So those are just some of the theories that I've seen around. Now, to circle back to us, some people in our fandom are kind of worried about what this new album means for our 13 podcast weekly breakdowns, because right now we're in the middle of Evermore. But this one lobster says, "Speak not, tired wacky wench," because there could be a show of hands that we're not revealing just yet.
Hi, 13 Podcast. My name's Nikki. I just wanted to let you guys know that in the next coming weeks or so, if we get an orange glittery background on one of your podcast Instagram pictures with a certain cutout of a certain superstar, none of us are going to be mad if you have to stop doing Evermore. Love you guys. Bye.
We would never.
Hey, the door has been open for Taylor doing podcasts. So
The invite's always there, Taylor.
I did think about it though, like if we were to ever get some sort of message that was like, hey, Taylor would like to go on your podcast, like I genuinely think I would have to be sent into some sort of like care situation.
If we did get that email, would we pretend like we have a secretary or something? Be like, okay, we'll get with the host to see if they have time.
100%.
I'll do it. I'll hear your volunteer. Okay.
I'll do it.
I think about that possibility every now and then, and I just like get so overwhelmed thinking about it.
I think the next one she's going to be on, if she does go on anymore, is Jake Shane's, and I really want that for him.
Selena just did that one.
Yeah, I think he's getting, of course, Selena Gomez is a huge star in her own right. However, he is one step closer, and I really, if it's not 13, I want it to be.
I do adore him.
I love him so much.
Back to the voicemails, because we've had some excited listeners calling in and excited to talk with us about it, including this one. Courtney from Canada has this brilliant takeaway after doing a little thinking just about the first track on the Life of a Showgirl album.
Hi, this is Courtney calling. I am from Saskatchewan, Canada. I have been a long-time listener. I am so excited about the new album. But one thing I noticed was in the title about Ophelia. I've read Hamlet, but I kind of wanted to know more about what we could be hearing in this song about Ophelia. And it said she experiences madness and drowning. So after her father's death and Hamlet's rejection, she spirals into grief, which could be the tortured poets department. And then it says sings fragmented songs, which like seems very tortured poets, or even like the surprise song section in the Eras tour. And then she drowns in a stream, which right after the surprise song section, she dives into the water before she goes into the Midnight era. Anyways, I have been wanting to call for a really long time, but I was too nervous, so here I am. I love listening to you guys, and I can't wait to hear more.
So she was too intimidated to call in, and then called in with a brilliant takeaway.
A great take.
That
Absolutely.
I've never put together. I mean, granted, we're still reeling and still trying to put everything together, but we just gloss over the dive into Midnights.
I'm going to have to read Hamlet. I got a month, right? A little over a month.
Yeah. And also speaking of Hamlet, yes, because the first track is The Fate of Ophelia. And something that Taylor kept saying several times throughout the New Heights podcast was the number 47. During Jason's intro, she was like, oh my God, he just went on for like 47 seconds. And then she mentioned it again in some other way. Smart Swifties found out that in Hamlet, Ophelia dies during Act 4, Scene 7.
Interesting.
What?
Yeah. So here's like facepalm. He goes, what?
Maybe it was in our group chat where we were talking about this 47, and someone had mentioned that they had seen that that's the number of times or the amount of seconds that on average she was shown on TV during NFL games.
Yes.
So maybe they're
that was
highlighting that.
That was the average
middle
time
finger,
too.
Kinda.
Yeah, for sure. Also, some of our listeners were messaging us because Taylor did kind of answer some of the questions that we've had on our running list of questions.
Okay, what were they?
Well, we were very close to getting her favorite Pop-Tart flavor. We were close, right? Because Pop-Tarts came up and like it was so close. We've actually also asked about like what her favorite re-recording has been, and she said Red was her favorite album to re-record because of All Too Well and everything behind that. I know, right?
That's her favorite child for sure.
I was looking back at our questions. We also had Is There a Karma album, which is funny. That's one of like the very, very early questions. But then we also have a question in here kind of around the middle. It says, are you and Travis actually dating? I think the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
But it was just so fun. I feel like I'm just on such a SwifTEA high. I have the SwifTEA zoomies. And then I think another highlight for me throughout the entire podcast was every time Taylor would use a big word, Travis would just be like, oh, she's so hot when she uses big words.
I know.
And she was like, you're so handsome, when he like didn't understand one of the words that she said. But I do think that Travis is a very smart guy. And she was even saying, she was like, you're pretending. She was like, you're pretending to not know things, but I know you know things, you know? But I think it was just so sweet to see him just like absolutely let her shine.
The Sam Bankson on TikTok reiterated the same thing that you said, Anna, and just realizes what truly a blessing this interview is giving us.
Can we just talk about how we basically got a whole new testament of the Taylor Swift Bible tonight? Like, on a random Wednesday, we got sacred texts. We got 2 hours of casual conversation with the queen herself. We got bread puns.
I am using loafing him was bread for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I've already changed. I changed my Instagram bio because the album is The Life of a Showgirl, and I changed it to The Life of a Morning Showgirl because I'm on a morning show.
Love it.
Funny.
I know.
Funny.
I just can't believe it. Do you guys want to hear some comments from our listeners?
Let's hear it.
So earlier this morning, I posted on our Instagram at the 13 podcast, just asking for, vibes, reactions, thoughts to the album, because I thought it'd be fun to incorporate some of our listeners. We get our voicemails, but also digitally. Kayla B said, I'm just so happy to see Taylor so happy, relaxed, and doing what she loves her way, finally. Stephanie E. Mitchell said, best night we've had since the Eras tour. It was magic. Izzy, who, by the way, got reposted on Taylor Nation last night. Did you guys see that?
Did he?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I actually have something from our good friend, and Taylor Swift has the life of a showgirl, and that caused a lobster to get thrust into the limelight as well. To the voicemail we go.
You guys, it's Izzy, your bestie. I'm crashing out. Taylor Nation just reposted me on their story for the post for The Life of a Showgirl. I gagged. I just wanted to share the news and just oh my god. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Oh,
I love that.
my God. I love everything about it because Izzy has been a fan for a very, very long time. So to see him on Taylor Nation's Instagram was insane. But I also feel so loved in a way that when that happened, he called us. Like, his reaction was to call us. Like, that's incredible. That I love that so much. Izzy, we are so, so, so happy for you.
Also, the only appropriate reaction to getting posted on Taylor Nation.
Yeah, exactly.
Is to call our voicemail, which the phone number is what?
6892. No, yeah, 689-214-1313.
Yeah, let's go.
Wow,
let's
good.
go. Okay, a few other comments. Kelsey Reiner 12 said, after I watched the podcast, I said that was one of the biggest treats of my life. Cables 07 said, I'm loving the moody artwork for this. I think it's fascinating that the Reputation photographers worked on this. BMBLB said, I'm feeling like based on the covers alone, it's Reputation's sister album, and that makes me, a Reputation girly and a theater kid, very happy. NX Van said, I'm still processing the podcast and basking in all the happiness, candidness, and sweetness of it all. Also, claps for Jason for all the great questions. Got way more than we expected. There were times that I was watching it because my husband Ryan watched it with me, which was like just so precious. And there was, I think it was when Jason asked, like, what was your favorite album to re-record? I was like, great question.
Yeah.
Excellent question.
He had an excellent balance of being Travis's brother and being happy for them and knowing them on a personal level, but also remembering that he's here to do an interview.
Mm-hmm. And because he asked a question no one has had the chance to ask Taylor, what do we listen to now?
Yeah,
now
that's
that
so
you
true.
own all of your music. And her answer was, I don't care. Now you can listen. It depends. She did say she felt like the older ones, the newer ones had things that the older ones were lacking, because then by then she had already learned the industry and learned so little subtle things. But she's like, if you get nostalgic listening to the old versions, then listen to that. They're all game now.
Yeah. Also, Maria said, I just know Nick is going to get what he loves best, glitter pen pop.
It's going to be wonderful. And like they said, 12 bangers. So it's going to be great.
Do you think it's possible to top your love for 1989?
I mean, right now, that's a very high mountain to climb to reach the peak of how great 1989 was. But, I mean, if anyone's up to the challenge, it's Taylor. So we'll see. I mean, I do love the point where she is in her life where she just has that little extra spark of life in her.
Yeah.
And to tie that into making great bangers of music that she said in this interview have the highest quality lyrics that she wants to focus on, and then also have high quality music and production and sound. So, I mean, we'll see.
She also said she wants to make music more of an event. That was also a little tidbit that I had written down.
You're so right.
Make music more of an event. That really stood out. Don't forget to join us over in the Lobster Lounge, station.page/13, station.page/13. That's just our little safe space where the comments have been blowing up all week long because of this chaotic rollout that we have going on. So make sure and join us, station.page/13, where you can keep up with all the latest with what's going on with Taylor Swift and this brand new album. One quick thing, it's not even a theory, it's just a fact, I guess, to point out. Someone noticed today that on the All Too Well 10-minute film, at the end, where we've seen the blue and the blue and the orange before, but at the very end where it's Taylor and she's the writer and she has red hair, it says 13 years gone whenever it flashes to that point. 13 years gone. Well, 13 years after All Too Well snack size is October 22nd of this year. So that's going to be 13 years since the original Red. Does she have something planned for that day?
Her memoir.
Is something
the life of a showgirl,
because they're making October to be hype. They were bringing up August, but now October is going to be the delivery, and I think October is going to be complete mayhem.
Added to the list last week of that the SwifTEA holidays that we were listening to. Added to that.
Added to that. Yeah, she definitely has more up her sleeve. So it's, as always, a great time to be a SwifTEA.
Any final thoughts before I end on a clip?
Yes.
This
is just like so exciting. This is like the absolute best. I cannot wait for the moment I crash out.
I've had the SwifTEA Zoomies,
I think,
since Monday.
You already have.
I think I'm a little delirious.
Sorry, Sahir, what were you saying?
I've had the SwifTEA Zoomies all week, and I just can't think about anything but that. Literally, this Saturday, I'm going to a Taylor Swift x Sabrina cycling class.
Let's go.
And this was before they announced anything. And I'm just like, everything is coming up, Taylor. And I'm so happy.
Yeah, beyond. Nick?
No, I'm just excited. This is great. This is wonderful. And like what Lacey was saying earlier, I can't wait to see in 3 years down the road what Easter eggs went completely over our head from this interview. And what we thought were Easter eggs, just like how we dissected the Colbert Report interview. Or the
wow,
late night
throwback,
interview.
yeah.
And like, oh, the pizza means something. Like, I don't think it did. Or if it did, it fell apart. I'm interested to see how this ages.
Yeah.
You know? So it'd be cool.
I'm really excited that we have new music coming out, that we have a beautiful, insane photo shoot that's included in all of this. I love the showgirl look. I love the honesty that's being shown, the behind the scenes, that this is, while I look beautiful on stage, I'm back there in an ice bath with the stomach flu and blisters on my feet, that everything is not exactly what it seems. I'm excited that hopefully this is going to get us back out with the SwifTEAs, and we'll be able to do another SwifTEAs in the park and get out and have a good time. But most importantly, JoJo and Casey on TikTok wants everyone to realize, after this insane rollout week that came out of nowhere, what did we all learn from this experience? Because there are some takeaways.
Okay, so what have we learned? We learned that a surprise pop-up performance does actually, in fact,
fact mean that Taylor Swift is about to announce an album. We've learned that when Taylor is this pointed in a photo and it seems strange, it means something. We've learned that when Taylor wants to be seen, she will be sure of it. We've learned that when Taylor creates music that she wants to put out, she will put it out no matter how long ago she released a double album. We've learned that Taylor can and will Easter egg years and albums in advance. We've learned that Taylor Nation does in fact Easter egg. We've learned that the final track on the standard edition will still tie into the next album. Clara Bow was a showgirl. The final line in this song is promised to be dazzling. Like stars. We've learned that when Taylor includes stars on every single piece of her holiday merch collection, that's an Easter egg. And we've learned that Taylor has in fact been Easter egging this album for over a year.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So pay attention when she's talking.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on this episode of 13, a Taylor Swift Fan Podcast. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on right now, and catch us on YouTube. And you can see our beautiful faces. And all the ways to contact us are in the description of this podcast. We would love to hear from you. Our website, our email, our phone number are all in the description of this podcast. And join us next time, because we are still in our Evermore era right now. So join us next time when we break down Tolerate It.
Also, keep in mind, that was recorded before all of this happened.
Yeah, that's true. It sure was. So
see you then.
What's going to be so dated about it? Who knows? We'll see.
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift Fan Podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.